Hello everybody. I have not done a stream in a while, but I figured I'd do one because I'm bored, and Pong seems like something that a lot of people need to make, so that's what we're gonna do. Let's center this a little bit better. I still don't have a very good idea of where to put a webcam when there is nowhere to put one. Alright, this is just my reference because I've already made Pong. I'm going to be referencing it. But I'll have it over here. Okay. So I've got my blank project all set up over here, just called Pong clone. Made a blank level. There are no assets or anything. We don't need that. This is going to start with blueprints, but we will be using C++. So I made a folder called levels and a blank empty map called game in here. I'm going to launch my other demo project so I can see my assets and what I created. And while that does that, I just got a new git clone, or updated to 4.27.0 off of GitHub, so I'm building things fresh. So the engine is built, we won't have to run through that, but my old project has to do some rebuild. I do know we're going to need some C++ classes. Oh, it's done. For that to pop up. Hey, Denny X. Long time no chat. It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm doing alright. I was doing the whole job thing for about a month and a half, 2 months. Did not have time to stream. And the last thing I wanted to do was sit at my computer for any longer at the end of the day, so just took a break for a while. Where is this pop? There it is. It appeared in the background. So this is what we're going to be creating here. I think I can show it off. This is LAN enabled, so this won't work initially. Oh yeah, because it's also set up for it won't begin until the second player joins. So we're gonna make a LAN enabled Pong clone. So first I'm gonna recreate these assets over here. We're gonna make an art folder. And in here, we're going to need a couple of meshes. This is going to be very simple. So, first is, start with just using this stuff. Go to 0, 0. We want this guy to be a 100 by 100 by 100 cube. Create blah, 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 blah. Create a static mesh. This is our SM. Pong ball. And delete you. Next. Yep. You spend too much time on a computer and you need time off. I recently discovered disc golf, and that has been my stress relief. So as you'll notice, these have 0 and collision primitives, so we're gonna fix that. Or, well, you can't see it because it's on my other irritating. Forget that I said that. I'm all scattered. I don't remember how to stream anymore. Alright, Pong paddle, what do I make with this guy? We're gonna make another box, 0, 0, 100 by 100 by 100, though this guy is going to be in the, let's see, we orient this way so that X is up and Y is to the right. I'm gonna make this guy, I think I made him 350, maybe 325. Long balls next to it. Can't really see it, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's a Pong paddle, and I'm just gonna go with 350 and make it neat in here. So there's our SM Pong paddle. Delete. And next is the wall. We're gonna wait on the wall just until I get some things set up first. We need to have ourselves a material. We're gonna call it white. We just want to have ourselves a vector 3. That's not what it is. Yeah, oh, it's a 3 vector, that's why. There we go. You are white. And that just goes out to not base color, to emissive color. This is going to be unlit. Okay, so if we were to have this guy out here and he was a nice white, now we can see it. And with the Pong paddle, white. Oop. And the other one, white. Okay. Yeah, that looks about... It's not going to be exact Pong, but it's going to play like Pong. Okay, so now that we have those, we have some C++ classes we need to make. First, I think we should start with the game instance. This will be a public in core. And we'll call this Pong game instance. The networking of this will be kind of a repeat a little bit of what I was doing with battle grids, because it's basically the same. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to open up Writer. Rust and open, new window. And here we are in our fresh C++ for our Pong clone. Okay. We also are, once this is finished doing its thing, we have to add in module stuff. Go away. Come on, Ryder, finish doing your thing. We are going to want our slate and slate core. It hasn't finished yet, so My macros are not working. There we go. And online subsystem. I believe that's all we needed there. So that works. So we have our slate and our online subsystem added in our config. Which one? Yeah. Default engine. We want to do online subsystem default platform service equals null. I think. I honestly, maybe that's not necessary, but I think it is in order to set this to be just using no online subsystem, so it's just LAN. We're not going to be dealing with Steam or anything fancy like that. Now, let's go ahead and work on our game instance here. This is our Pong clone game instance. We're going to want a menu interface. Some of this might seem like I'm jumping around, but this is going to be because there's a bunch of things that all work together, and you'll see how they come together eventually. I'm going to add a new folder here, UI, and in this we're going to add a new file called Pong menu interface.h. This is a cool way to use one second before we keep doing this. I want to do a quick little copyright notice so that this always fills out. When we make new files. Yoink. There. This will be open though. I just like to have that for my own OCD, so that it doesn't just keep doing that at the top of my files. Okay. Pragma once. Include core minimal.h and our include of Pong menu interface.generated.h. U interface minimal API class upong menu interface inherits from Pong U or public U interface and our generated body macro. So that is basically the header thing there, and now comment blurb class no, this is Pong clone. Pong clone API I. This is the actual interface. I Pong menu interface. Generated body again. Public. And a semicolon. All right. So if you make, this is, I think this is just generated by Unreal Engine if you were to go through their whole the thingy that they do, what is it called? The Wizard? Yeah, the Wiz. The Wiz, the best in town. That's where these things come from. But this is the, this is the interface, and this, I think, this is the actual, the Unreal object thing in the background. So you don't touch this. This is where you add interface functions. So functions that are our menu, this is like these will be for our buttons that are gonna call through so the game instance runs them. So we're gonna have a virtual void host, which will take an f string const reference. So I'm trying to get better at this. When I code C++, as a little aside, I like to do it like this, right? Const on the right, because it always applies to the thing on the left. Unless there's nothing on the left, then it goes right. But Unreal Engine, for matching of the way that they write their code, that's how they do it. They're const left, which you gotta throw away your own personal formatting stuff in when you want to adhere to Unreal Engine stuff. You match what's already been written. So we're gonna have a join, which is a const int reference. An index is passed in, and server data. So we need a struct Pong server data, which we will make. This is a const also. Pong server data is passed in by reference, const reference. There's our in server data, which is our LAN stuff. Virtual void start game. A virtual void load main menu. And a virtual void refresh server list. So those will be what our game instance promises. Let's get rid of that. Whatever it's going to promise to implement these. So our game instance is going to implement iPong menu interface. There's our header include. We have our virtual void init override, which just comes from the game instance class. And then our menu interface implementations are overrides. Let's do the init first. I don't know if you can hear the birds chirping outside my window, but they're nice. This is something also I learned recently, which I like to do now. I'm going to declare log category extern log Pong clone log all. Rather than using the temp and the warning stuff, we're going to make our own little category in the output. And we're going to define log category log Pong clone. Clong. Pong clone. There we go. Okay, in init. I want to set up default screen settings. So if gengine game user settings pointer the user settings, we're gonna get the game user settings, and if we, what are these? This is a U object, so is valid user settings. Can we do that? We cannot. We'll just check if it's not a null pointer. User settings, set the screen resolution to user settings, get desktop resolution so that it just gets the desktop. Set full screen mode to E, window mode, windowed full screen. And then we want to load. We don't want to force a reload. User settings, apply settings, check for command line override, false. Okay. So that's just when we launch it, it gives us a nice full screen. And we now want to initialize online subsystem. This is where we go online subsystem pointer. Subsystem is equal to online subsystem get. Now we need a header for that stuff, which I believe, yep, we're gonna want that, right? Oh, you know what we need to do is, because we've modified that, so we need to go ahead and close that too. Open up project, delete intermediate. Why is it open? We'll see if... Oh, come on. Is it because I have... Alright. I'll stop my other instance of Rider. I don't know why it was... It's been doing this lately. I don't know why. It thinks something is using it. Nothing is using it. There we go. Okay. That build C# file, when you modify it, because we added a new module, so it didn't know what this path was yet. Now it should. I'll open my other guy again. For it to do its thing. There we go. All right. Now it found it. And we've got our online subsystem, or a pointer to it, which is going to be, in this case, because our online subsystem was set to null, it is LAN. So, if our subsystem here is not a null pointer, so if it's valid, we're going to, first of all, log out to our, that's not it, to our Pong clone log. Standard, just a nice little text output. Found subsystem, a string, and we're going to dereference the online subsystem get subsystem name. Ah, my other writer just stole my cursor. I don't like that it does that. Programs shouldn't be able to steal your attention like that. Okay, and dereference because it wants the C string, right? The character, it wants the characters out of the F string. So when you log stuff, always remember that dereference on a string. Okay. Now we want to get our session interface. Subsystem equals, or subsystem get session interface. Which, I'm being silly, of course, that you can't just say session interface because it doesn't know what that is. So over here in our header we have some variables which I've put under protected. They could probably be private, but we'll just do protected for now. A little fancy. Come on. No, not there. Right there. It's still doing it. Stop stealing my cursor. We're going to want two variables of iOnline session pointer called session interface and a t-shared pointer of fonline session search called session search. Which we need to put a thing there. There we go. This is also something my recent writer, it keeps installing WriterLink plugin. Every single time I open Writer, it's installing the WriterLink plugin, and I don't know why it's doing that. That's a new behavior. It hasn't done that in the past. Not on lints, online session search. There we go. Now it's happy. So, our session interface is being set to the get session interface, and we're going to do another check on that. So, if session interface, and this one we're doing is valid on it. Yep. All right, we have 4 delegates that we need to bind to. As you can see, we have a lot of stuff this session interface handles, right? Kind of cool, right? Man, there's a lot. Got matchmaking. That's neat. I'm gonna have to play with those in the future. But for right now, what we want is on create session complete delegates. We're gonna add a uObject, this, and Pong game instance. And we haven't made these functions yet, but we're just gonna stick them on here. On create session complete. Next, we want on destroy session complete delegates, add uObject this Pong game instance on destroy session complete. And we want an on find sessions complete delegates, add uObject again, this Pong game instance on find sessions complete, and one more, session interface on join session complete delegates, add uObject this Pong game instance on join sessions complete. So those are going to be our 3 callbacks that are bound to those delegates. If we did not find a subsystem, this is where we want a warning. But still in our cool new Pong clone category, we're gonna warning text found no subsystem. So macro does not need a semicolon. If G engine, we also need to have a network failure, so G engine on network failure. Add a U object, this U Pong game instance on network failure. We're gonna also make that function. So that's our init with a bunch of placeholder names. Why don't we go ahead and, excuse me, add those. Those are gonna be under protected. I'm just going to copy over. Create session complete takes, again, I'll move these around so that they're following Unreal Engine's expectations for const leftness. Same thing here. Okay. So yeah, these, you find those by, if you were to go search this guy on session complete, it just takes a bool and a name, fname and bool. So you just find what each of these delegates require, and you stick them into the function parameters so that they match up. We are missing on join sessions complete. No, we're not. It's right there. Ah. It is not plural. Right. You're only joining one session. Okay. That takes care of that. So we've got those. We can get rid of that guy. Let's go ahead and make those functions, at least implement them. Just going down the line and hitting Alt-Enter to create implementation. Alt-Enter, generate implementation. Boom. All of our implementations. Okay. We might not make all of Pong today. Since I am talking it through, it actually will take longer than I thought. So server data is not something, whoops, don't auto make that. This is another variable we need, server data, which, let's go ahead and make this. We need to have ourselves another header called Pong data. There we go. And this will have just, this is, I like to put structs and things like this somewhere else. I tried to have it in the same header, but it ended up causing issues. Generated.h. This is a use struct of blueprint type. Struct f. Pong server data. Generated body macro. We need a uProperty of f string name. The server has a name. It has the current players, which I haven't gotten actually to work, and the host username. Okay. Now that we have that, back over here, we're going to actually include that guy. And we need under variables, we're going to store our server data with the macro of edit anywhere, blueprint read write, so we can see it in the editor. Now back over here, our server data.name is equal to our server name that is coming in, and we're going to make a but here's one more thing. A const auto existing session is equal to session interface get named session, and we're going to make two static global variables up here, session name and server name settings key Unreal Pong session. These are just like our defaults, and we're going to pass that in down here. So we're going to check, do we already have a session? And what also, Unreal Engine does not like auto, so we're not going to use that anymore. So this is an f-named online session. Pointer. If you look through the code or any of the code standards on their wiki, they do not recommend using auto. So we won't use it. Alright, if we did find an existing session, we want to destroy the session by that session name, our default static, else we're going to create a session, which we have not made this function yet. Let's go ahead and just put that into our header. Void create session. This will be a const function. Now, when we create a session, if our session interface is valid, we're going to make some f-online session settings called session settings. We need another header for that stuff. It is in here. Sorry, I'm moving fast. Online session settings.h. So we're going to do come on, there we go. Only LAN at the moment, so is LAN match is going to be set to true. The number of public connections in Pong is 2. Excuse me. B should advertise true. Session settings .b uses presence, sure, true. Session settings, we're going to set the server name settings key. So if we look at this, it wants a key to value pair combination, and then we pass in the server data.name and e-online data advertisement type via online service and ping. I think we're using an overloaded one. Yeah. This may be not required for LAN stuff, because I worked backwards from my Steam game, so some of this stuff, if you know better than me, you might not need it for a LAN, but I'm just copying stuff over. So we're creating a session. The hosting player's number is 0 with the static session name, and we pass it our settings. So it creates a session. Now, what do we have here? Oh, look, on create session complete. Once this is once this create session finishes and this finishes, this will get broadcasted, and we will be running this. So if, check our parameter, if it is not successful, we want to print a UE log in our log Pong clone, a warning, could not create session, and return. Otherwise, we do not have the menu yet. However, we're going to ensure our ensure menu and tear down if invalid. We'll come back to that. We want a uEngine pointer, the engine, which is going to be get engine. We can const this. If we're going to ensure our engine, we're going to return if it's bad. We're going to do a little output just in the log. This is just for some output text, and we're going to print the server name. Next, we want a uWorld pointer called world. We're going to get the world. Again, we want to ensure that we have the world, otherwise return. And then we're going to server travel. We can't const this one, right? We're going to server travel to our game folder, levels, game, and we're going to listen on it. We're going to be on, eventually, we'll be on a menu screen. Once the session's created, we make sure that we get these pointers, and if so, this is just a travel, why are we grabbing engine? I don't know why we're grabbing engine right there. We'll just forget about that. I'm sure there's a reason we're grabbing engine there. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement our onDestroy session complete. So again, we're checking if be success. We're going to create a session. UE log to the, whoops, Pong clone, just a standard log, destroyed existing session. Else, a warning, could not destroy existing session. So these are going to be for searching. So this is the searching side. So if as a reference for the world, for the engine here, we're not storing it. So I can't remember if this was for this may have been for something that previously existed. I'm looking over here and I keep forgetting you. You guys can't see my second monitor. This may have been from previous code that I'm not using anymore, but I can't remember. Obviously, in a different project, I had the loading screen. But it may just be a safety to make sure that the engine exists or something. I don't know. We're just gonna leave it though. Doesn't break anything. Alright, so if success and our session search is valid, we're gonna do another print. Standard log, finished find session. I'm gonna say sessions. And we want to make a T array of f Pong server data, called its server names. And for f online session search result reference result in session search results, and we can const that as well. We're gonna do a found session names string dereference result.get session ID string, and f Pong server data. We're gonna make a new struct here, new variable, and data current players is equal to 2 minus the result.session.num public connections minus result.session.num open private connections. So this current players, you're gonna see eventually, never works. It always says 0 out of 2. So I don't quite know. Oh. If I'm setting it to 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. That's why. It's doing what it should be. So the tutorial I followed did their math wrong. I'm gonna take that off. It's just gonna be 2. So it should just show 1. Alright, we'll find out if that fixes my issue. Log, and we're gonna text open public connections %digit is the result.session.num open public connections. That's all we want. And then data.host username is equal to result.session.owning username. We're gonna make an f string called server name. I believe this can be const. If the result.session.session settings.get server name settings key at server name. We're getting that by the key data.name equals our server name. And then else data.name could not find name. And we're adding that data to our array of server names. Next, we haven't made this yet, we're going to set the server list with that array. And that will populate our server list with each result that we find, which on a, we're only gonna have one on the LAN session that we're making, but let's say you had a bunch of computers in your house for some reason, and you make in a LAN session, and you'll find a bunch of them, and this will create a bunch of server lists. Okay, on join session complete, if session interface is not valid, go ahead and return. Otherwise, we want f string. We want an address. Create an address string, and if we can't get a resolved connect string off the session name and the address, so that's an out parameter. So it's filling our address with the resolved connect string. So if we can't, we're gonna log Pong clone warning text could not get connect string and return. Otherwise, we're doing it again here. Const u engine pointer engine equals get engine. Why are we getting the engine? I don't remember. This was off of a tutorial on Udemy, and I don't remember why they were getting the engine. UE log Pong clone in the standard log text joining address. Now we want a player controller pointer. Player controller is equal to get first local player controller. And we check if we got that. Otherwise, return if we didn't. Player controller, we're going to do a client travel to the address and travel absolute. You can look up travel types to understand absolute travel a little bit better. All right, network failure. We load the main menu. I think we already... Yeah, we just haven't written it yet. Okay. So I think we just implemented all of that. There's some other stuff we need to do, such as... That's all user interface stuff. We are not going to do it yet. However, we can make these variables. So we're going to have pointers to the UI, which we don't need to worry that they don't exist yet. We're just going to forward declare them. And I think we can, yeah. We'll go ahead and put these in here too. These are under public. We want to be able to get our game HUD. And this is for UI creation. We'll go ahead and make the... All right. If we can flesh those out yet. Maybe. So for UI, because we're doing this in C++, this is another thing that I need to add is the classes, which we have to be set in editor as default so that we know what of our widget classes to create. So load the main menu widget looks like this. We make sure that we have a main menu class, otherwise we return. And if there is no, if we don't have a menu pointer yet, our menu is equal to create widget we're going to create the menu widget. We need to have that stuff first, and then we're going to ensure that it worked, otherwise return, and we'll do a menu setup and a menu set menu interface to this so that our UI has a reference to us. Same thing here. Our game HUD class we're checking, otherwise we return. We don't do this. We don't want to break things. Again, create game HUD widget. And then ensure that we have the game HUD, otherwise return. Then game HUD runs its setup, and game HUD sets menu interface to this as well. Right, and then we're going to have an in-game menu widget as well. So this is the last one. So same thing, we're ensuring that we have the class available to use, and if so, we check first of all, is the in-game menu valid, and is it in the viewport? Which it's going to be mad because this is not a thing yet. If it exists and it's in the viewport, we're going to tear it down and return. That's for the toggling feature. So if you hit your in-game menu button on and off, it pops up and pops down. If we don't have an in-game menu yet, create in-game menu widget. Ensure the in-game menu, otherwise return. And then same thing, in-game menu setup and in-game menu set menu interface to this. Okay, we've done host. Right, join now, so if we don't have a session interface, we want to return. If we don't have a session search, we also want to return. If we don't have a menu, we want to return. Otherwise, we're going to tear down the menu. And then our server data is equal to the in-server data coming from the parameter list. Our session interface, we're going to run join session. The local user number is 0 on session name static session search results at the index that we're passing in. That's what we're joining. That's it. And then, of course, once this is called and we go through clicking on join and it runs that, it runs on join session complete and runs the client travel. Okay, start game. What is start game gonna do? If ensure the menu, return, otherwise menu tear down, get rid of our main menu. Engine equals get engine. We're doing it again. If ensure engine return, otherwise UE log Pong clone log text starting game. A const nope, can't const it because we're traveling. World get world. This is kind of the same thing as on create session complete. This is for... This is if we had a lobby, which from it... So this is an unnecessary function, but we're going to have it just in case in the future we ever wanted to use it. So again, game. Aha! Game. There we go. Levels. Game. Listen. So you could directly call start game, or you can... It goes through the whole create session thing and then runs this. So we could actually right here... We could just call start game, right? Yep. Okay. Loading the main menu. We may get a player controller pointer to get first local player controller. We're going to make sure that we have it. Otherwise, return player controller client travel to game levels. And we haven't made this yet, but main menu. And again, we have a travel absolute. And a refresh. Yeah, all right. Go ahead and update my ID of them. Refreshing a server list. Yeah. I think we can implement this. Search, make shareable a new F online session search. This is like one of the only moments that I've ever used the new in Unreal Engine. Search dot is valid session search. Max search results set to 100. Session search query settings set to search presence, which is like a global yeah, it's a macro. True E online comparison op equals some of these things I've forgotten exactly what they do, but you can always search it. So starting find session. And then session interface, find sessions. Sessions player num is 0. Searching player number is 0, so the self, the first player number. And then make it into a shared reference, the settings. Okay. I think that's good for our game instance at the moment. We can move on. Oh, it's gonna get mad actually because of this. Go ahead and stop it. Just comment that out for the moment. It's doing it again. Check that out. Installing Writer Link plugin. What? Why are you doing that? It's so weird to me. I'll have to search that. Okay, while it does that, I'm gonna go get some water and boot it up, and then I think we'll try and blow through making all of the menus real fast, and then that'll set us up for continuing this Pong tutorial tomorrow. I'm gonna aim for like 2 hours, so I'll be right back. Alright, I grabbed some coffee and drank some water, and I come back and nothing is happening, as far as I can tell. Well, that's weird. Pretty sure... Ugh, it's the issue. Yeah, okay, so it's not Got ahead of myself. We're just gonna comment out things. Just build, please. Like, foundational user interface stuff is always the most time-consuming feeling to me. And I wish there was something here that told me it was thinking or it was actually doing something. When it just sits like this, I never know if anything's actually happening. I've had to actually restart. Whoops, wrong one. I'm having issues with Rider lately. I really like Rider, but I don't know if they broke some things in the recent with the updates with Unreal Engine 5, but it hasn't felt as reliably responsive since the recent updates. I also would very much like Rider on Linux. I'd like to go back to using Arch, by the way. Hello, if you've just joined in watching, we are currently working on the foundation of the networking side of LAN-capable Pong. And once Rider stops being finicky, we can get to making the menus. Using Linux for game development? You'd be surprised. Unreal Engine runs Linux, and you can make games for Linux. With Valve's work on Proton as well as Vulkan, there is no real reason to not develop for Linux. As well as the new Steam Deck. Able to build Rider Link, I don't know why. Seems like it works fine for me. Send it to a friend. It's kind of the same situation if you want to make it run on... if you want to make an OS X game, you can't build it with Unreal Engine without running on a Mac. You can't build it, the project. This is behaving weird. Class U user widget not found. Try and build it. I don't know why it's given that. With Unreal Engine though, with Target, as long as you support the platforms, the testing's really not that hard. And everybody has Windows, so you just plop out a Windows build and send it to a friend. Well, Ryder might be having one of its days. I really don't know what's going on. Also, why it's running through this process. It's like every time I launch it, it's gotta redo a bunch of stuff. I might do a clean, fresh Ryder. Yeah, a dual boot Linux Windows machine if you're going for that. I just don't like the Windows 11 stuff and where it's going. Just personally, as a person using a computer, I wouldn't mind being able to get back to my Linux land. This is annoying. Today's stream may come to a close early because Ryder is doing weirdness and won't listen. Is it mad because I have two windows of Ryder open? I mean... Alright, I will close. Failed to initialize project model. Okay. Yes, stop. Just stop. Everything, stop. Go away. Try again. Yeah, it already ran through those things. That's what's confusing me is, Rider keeps behaving as if it's the first time it's ever run every time I open it. So that makes me wonder if there's something wrong with, see, it's running Rider Link install progress again. Right? Building plugin. Why does it need to keep doing that? It's installing the Rider Link plugin again. And it's processing. It's already done all of this. So why is Rider doing it all again every single time it opens? So, okay. What I'm gonna probably do is do a fresh install of Rider on my computer and just kind of clean it up, because I feel like there's a config file or something that's incorrect somewhere that's forcing it to run all this again, and maybe a clean install might be the way to go. So I think I may end there. We've got the basics of our networking background setup on the game instance, and we can quickly run through making all of the interfaces and finish this up in just a few days, because it's a fairly simple thing to make, but this is slowing us down quite a bit. So thanks for joining in for today for this brief start at making Pong. I'll be back at some point in the future to continue this tutorial series and whack my microphone some more. So until then, bye everybody. Thanks for tuning in.